Welcome to the Own It Show. We are live here with Maraya Brown, a special guest. I'm so excited. She is a conscious entrepreneur who left the Fortune 50 to be a midwife, who's a Yale educated nurse practitioner, functional medicine trained, and she believes food is medicine and mindset matters. And she's going to have so much more to tell you about herself. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We know as conscious entrepreneurs, we're always learning and growing. So I'm just so grateful to have you on the show. Please tell us more about yourself.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. More about myself. Like you said, I'm a midwife by training. I've been attending births for now 22 years. And even I think as a child, I was the one always staying up to watch the puppies and the kittens being born. I think it's probably been within me for lifetimes. And then had the opportunity to go to Yale to do the kind of traditional allopathic, let's get the foundational understanding of to run women's health and attend births both in hospital birthing center and home birth settings. And so I had the esteemed privilege of running women's health clinics through Oregon and Hawaii since 2007 and running international health projects in West Africa and Central America and Haiti. And to make a long story short, along the journey, there was always this piece of, well, wait a minute, I'm still kind of clocking in, clocking out, working for someone else. And how can I really allow myself to be in my zone of genius, offer my craft up to the women that really need me and need my methods, but do it in an online space. So then entrepreneurial endeavors kicked in. And voila, the Women's Vibrancy Code method was birthed and the Vibrant Life workshops. And now I get to work from home and brought my husband home as the CFO and stay-at-home dad. And we've got 3 children and we love to hike and do yoga. And it's pretty spectacular. I mean, it's not all peaches and cream. It's not all perfect, but it's good.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. 1, you're living your purpose. 2, you're leaving a positive impact on the world. And 3, you get to do it on your own terms.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so just for people who are out there and listening, what say they wanted to work with you? Who do you work with? How do you work with them? And what results do you help them get?
Yes, absolutely. So I work with women as women's health provider, specifically ambitious driven women that might be feeling exhausted, might be feeling like there's something going on with their hormones. They're watching the roller coaster of life that might show up in the roller coaster of anxiety, depression, sleep disturbances, weight. And also women that are finding themselves looking in the mirror and going, I don't recognize who I see. And this is not what I thought life would be like at this point in my life. And it's impacting their libido, meaning their passion for their life, their lover, and themselves. And so these are mainly women, for the most part, like 30 to 55. Obviously, there's outliers, but they're coming in and saying, I'm sick and tired of trying to advocate for myself and going to providers, and their only answer is either your blood work is normal or here's a prescription. And instead, they're saying, I know I'm burning the candle at both ends, and I need to prioritize my own wellness and my own foundational health so that I can pour more greatly into the things that I want to do. Predominantly entrepreneurs wanting to go out and build big businesses. We have to have our cup filled up in order to do that. So they come to me and I have a method and a multidisciplinary team. And we have this community where we catch these women and really help them so that they can move from exhausted to energized, balance their hormones, and feel turned on by their life, their lover, and themselves.
Which is the title of the episode, because I love that. I think that's so brilliant. Let's get turned on by our life and ourselves again. Like, let's not skip over that. That is so beautiful.
No, it's so true. And the libido conversation is such a big conversation because there's stories of guilt and shame and I think passion gets infused into all of it. And so often there'll be a woman who's really turned on by her work, but not turned on by the sex that's being offered to her or not turned on by who she sees in the mirror. And so we get into all of it. And the foundation is, well, let's look at what we're eating, personalized supplementation, what tests are being ordered to make sure that they're the right tests with someone who really knows how to interpret those tests. But also, let's address any underlying trauma that's getting in the way and the way that we think.
Mm.
It's a pretty phenomenal space. I mean, I love it. I don't know any other space like it in the world at this point.
So I know you're filling a gap in the market. It's something that's super needed. One, just talking about female health, and bringing that to the table. Two, being able to talk about sex openly and not the shame or guilt or, blame about it. The paradigm, the old European grandma in me is like, no, it's only for procreation, right? Anyways. And then I just wanted to say that we resonate so much because perhaps disappointed by the traditional systems at one point or time and another. And so was my mother. And that's why she started down the holistic path and started guiding us in that direction, that mindset matters. You can heal with thought, you can heal with food, you can heal with energy, and taking us to outside the traditional doctors, going to naturopaths, doing energy work, tapping solution, Reiki, foot massages, acupuncture, like all the amazing things that truly saved my life and had me go to nutrition school and saved my life. I'm sure my mom's life, but then so many other people that we've helped who now get to look at themselves like a whole.
Yep. Yep. And they get to prioritize themselves. They get to say, I need some help here. And those of us who are healthcare providers, I think it's really important that we get to be our own self-advocate, but we don't step in as our own experts. And for those who aren't trained necessarily in the health world, you still get to be your self-advocate. But it's quite insane, really, when you just do Google searches, all the different information that can come flooding in. And I find a lot of women are just kind of like lily padding it, jumping from one way of thinking or one new diet and one supplement over to another and jumping from expert to expert and provider to provider. And I think it can feel dizzying. And a lot of women feel like they're drowning in all of it.
I have a really good vision for the future, and I have somebody who I'm working with who's working on it. I've had somebody who's in our program who's already created a database for this, and it's really about the ability, because I used to work with brain injuries, and I was the life skills coach, and so I had about 10 practitioners who I was taking their all the protocols and doing it with this client in home. And so what's missing in the rest of the world is the communication between those practitioners.
Yeah.
So we had team meetings. Everyone knew what everybody was doing. It was great communication. Everyone had, updates from every practitioner that they could read. And so everyone was building and working together. And then I could take all that information and implement it so that put a full schedule, full health healing, build your life schedule together with all practitioners communicating.
Yeah.
Because we are a whole. We need to be treated like a whole. And as much as I'm working to do it, to be able to have everything you need in one stop,
Yes.
there are multiple people that we need to refer out to. And I believe when people are communicating and they have that information, there will be a system that will have that for all us wellness, holistic practitioners, where we can. So if anyone out there wants to build an app that has people connect, where all, we can have all of our practitioners communicating in one spot. So it is client-centered healing.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fantastic. It's a missing gap in the market, just putting it out there.
Like Asana or Trello, like using something like that.
With Slack.
Right, so that you can use your voice and it can be in a multidisciplinary space. And yeah, I love it. I mean, I have that internally because we have a multidisciplinary team. But many of these women are also seeing their naturopaths and their acupuncturists and other functional medicine providers, and they have their business coaches. Wouldn't it be phenomenal if there could be a space where the communication could also be happening externally? So it's truly, truly multidisciplinary. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you start by saying, hey, everyone get your practitioners in one group chat. We're in the Slack chat together. Right? How can we start where we are? I love that. Yes. I love that. And then just for people who are listening, now we have had a functional medicine practitioner on here before, but that was last season. So just a quick overview for those. I think we know what a midwife is. But what about functional medicine? What does that look like?
Yeah. And even midwife. So often we think of midwife as catching babies, attending birth, which absolutely, I've caught hundreds of babies since 2000. But I really see myself as midwifing women through chapters of change.
Mm.
And so I'm not on call right now. I haven't attended a birth in a couple years, and I need my birth fix. I miss it. But now it's we as women go through big chapters of change, whether it's through the fertility chapter, into perimenopause, into menopause, big chapters of change in relationships and our bodies and our careers. And to have a midwife, so to speak, that can be there to hold the space and see them in their highest light and help them along their health journey, mind, body, and spirit. So that's how I'm showing up as a midwife now.
Love
And then
it.
from a functional medicine perspective, I think you would probably find different definitions from different people. For me, what functional medicine means is we're actually looking under the hood, not just what's your symptom and let's address the symptom. I think of that as putting a Band-Aid on a festering wound.
Mm-hmm.
In my example, if a woman is coming to me with really intense PMS or really strong menstrual cramps when she's bleeding, or maybe her libido has crashed. Okay, yeah, there might be that her testosterone has tanked. It might be that we need to help her progesterone come up during the luteal phase, the second half of the cycle. Yes, yes. But rather than simply giving her a prescription for testosterone or recommending some progesterone, let's go to the foundation. So what that looks like is it all starts at the gut and the thyroid and the adrenals and the liver. And generally, once we've gotten to the foundational imbalance, the body gets the memo and goes, oh, I didn't realize you just wanted me to produce some more progesterone or I needed some more testosterone. Now that the HPA axis is handled, i.e., my stress response is more subdued, my gut dysbiosis is cared for, I'm speaking my voice and my thyroid is getting the nutrients that it needs, my liver is getting what it needs to properly detoxify. There's the functional medicine approach, right? And
Yeah.
not just looking at blood tests, right? But looking at functional tests, which in my opinion are much more comprehensive. So rather than saying the check engine light is on and take your car in, and then somebody takes a hammer to the check engine light and goes, there you go, your light's off, you're all good, go on your merry way. You say, well, wait a minute, can you look under the hood and figure out like what's actually going on with my car?
Yeah. We have to hit the root cause. And that's actually our philosophy in our company for business
Mm-hmm.
and health. Because even in business, you can take all the skills and all the actions, but until you actually got to the root cause that it's your self-concept,
Yeah.
then you can't grow. So we 100%, the root cause is the key. And that is getting rid of the Band-Aid solution,
Yeah.
100%, and actually getting to the root cause so it's not a reoccurring, because
Right.
that is going to keep festering if we just keep putting Band-Aids on it.
Yeah. And getting to the systems
Yeah.
that need to be put into place to run a business smoothly. I always say people don't fail, but systems fail. So can we get the systems in place and make sure that we're all on the same page in regard to core values? And now we have a sustainable system in a health perspective. We get to address the overall systems. And I have the opportunity to empower these women to understand and be given the education so they know how to fish, not just be given a fish. So 10 years down the road, if I'm not even in the picture anymore and they have a new version, they've got the foundational education and systems so they can apply that and address whatever challenge they're facing down the road.
Yeah, I love that. And I guess the way we look at it is it's systems in business and habits in life, right? Because your
Mm-hmm.
habits are your systems you're using in your current life,
Mm-hmm.
right? So absolutely 100%, we need the both of them.
Oh my gosh, you and I could talk forever.
I know, I love it. I love it. And we're going to have you back.
Go ahead.
Just going to say we have to have you back every season.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
And I was thinking in the habit conversation, because you're Bob Proctor. I haven't studied with Bob Proctor, but I hear from a lot of Proctor practitioners this idea of our
Paradigm is a multitude of habits.
our thoughts affect our feelings dictate our actions dictate our habits, and our habits create our life.
Yes.
So yes, addressing habits, but really where that starts is addressing how we're thinking. And
Yeah.
then looking at how are we feeling about how we're thinking, and starting there while we're having the support to foundationally shift the systems that are in place, i.e. through a functional medicine lens in my world of health, It's good. It's
And
good.
and you absolutely have to do that to get to the foundation, right? Because same thing here is, what we teach you is great, great for the year, but guess what? You actually get to use it for the rest of your life
Yes.
because they are the tools, the systems, the foundations, the framework, the road work, however you want to look at it, that we're not given in school. This holistic approach it's not common. And here on the Own It Show, we live to help uncommon knowledge become common. So I'm so grateful to have you here because women's health and having babies and moving through transitions again is like not that talked about. I want us to be open and comfortable. Just as a nutritionist talks about fecal matter, we want to be able to talk about periods, right? We want to be able to talk about hormones and just bring this to a regular norm kind of conversation.
Yep.
Yeah, because as you were saying about all the transitions that women go through just through their hormones in their life cycle
Yep.
is wild on a monthly basis.
We get to talk about pooping and orgasms and self-pleasuring and the reality that sometimes we try to be perfect out in the world and we're not, and we actually need support. And I'm not perfect. I'm in perimenopause now, early phases of it. There are definitely nights where I have that 1 to 4 a.m. adrenal wake up, and I get to look at, all right, what aspects of the habits that I know I need to practice did I not practice in the last 24 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not looking for perfection here. We're looking, I always say perfectionism is canceled.
I love that. Okay, so let's dive into our tips. We have amazing tips and tricks to share with everybody today. And guys, I want you to take this in. We have the link in the show notes so you can always grab and learn more. But right now, tune in, make some notes, and we've got some great tips for you. So,
yeah. Okay, so you asked for 3.
Yes.
Number 1 is, I would say, no permission needed. Okay. For women in particular, we get to prioritize ourselves. Rest is not earned, it is required. Okay.
Wait, say that again.
Rest is not earned, it is required. And you do not need permission to prioritize yourself, say no, set boundaries, and allow yourself to receive support. If you feel like crap and you know you're burning the candle at both ends, continue to advocate for yourself and find someone who can give you the accountability and the roadmap to get to where you're trying to go. Number 2 is, or do you have any questions about number 1?
No, I'm just thinking like, where were you when my mom, 20 years ago when my mom needed you? But I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if we didn't go through that. So everything has a reason. And I just want to say it's so great what you're doing. So no, next tip. It's beautiful.
Next tip is pay attention to what goes in and out of your eyes, your mouth, and your heart. It makes me feel emotional when I say it out loud. It either serves you or it doesn't. Okay. So that means the food that you're eating or choosing not to eat, how you're eating it, the personalized supplementations that you've been given, not just throwing a dart in the dark and trying out random things, right? Paying attention to the water that's coming in, the words that are coming out. They either serve you or not. Eyes, what choices are we making in regard to what we're exposing our eyes to? Can we set boundaries with what television we watch and who we surround ourselves with and how much time we spend on social media? And through what mind's eye are we choosing to see the world? And I think the simple shift to, I like Abraham Hicks, so like the Abraham spiral of emotions. If you're in despair, can you move up to something that you feel just satisfied with? If you're in satisfaction, can you move up to joy and ecstasy? But to actually look through eyes of gratitude, ideally, or simply move up that scale and up level the tone through which you're choosing to see your world. And I think that has a lot of impact. So I said mouth, eyes, heart. Are you allowing yourself to really do what lights your heart on fire? Like, are you clear on what your purpose is, what your passion is? And are you allowing that to be expressed in a big, profound way? And are you allowing love to come in? I think for a lot of powerful entrepreneurs that are women, There's a reason why we're so driven, and often there's some walls up around our heart. And so we get to kind of chisel that away a little bit and allow ourselves to receive and allow ourselves to open up for new support to come in through our heart. We still get to be choiceful in who that is. You know, we are the company that we keep. We are the people, the 5 people that we surround ourselves with the most. And so to be choiceful and filter, but to open up a little bit and allow just to be aware of what's coming in and out.
I love
Um,
that.
Thank you.
Conscious awareness of all of that, right? Of what
Mhm.
we eat, the
Yeah.
environment we're in.
Yes. Yes.
Our
Yes. And
thoughts, our feelings.
we could say skin, we could say nose. I mean, it's all relevant. And then the last thing is the what, the why, and the who. So I think we have the esteemed privilege of going inside and getting clarity on what is it that I want? What do I want to be? What do I want to do? What do I want to have? And I think the B is probably the most important in the context of that conversation. What do I want? And why do I want that? And I encourage women to ask the question why at least 3 times. Like pull it back. Why do I want that? And when you get to that place where you're journaling, well, why do you want that? And allow it to go deeper until you feel it. You get the chicken skin is the goosebumps. You feel the emotion. So you get to root in what it is that you want and why it is that you want it. And then you go out and you find the who. Because I think, yes, we get to be in that place of self-advocacy, but I don't think we are served by trying to do it by ourselves. And so that's why both of us are here doing what we do, because we can be the who. Once you have clarity on the what and the why, you go find the who that's going to give you the hand holding and show you the roadmap. And don't ask people for directions to places they've not been. Don't find some new coach. I mean, the marketplace is inundated with experts and coaches right now. Make sure it's someone who's been around the block a little bit, has some life experience, and has really created a platform and a method that you resonate with. You look in their eyes and you feel seen and heard. And you get to say, I'm not going to try to do this all by myself. I'm going to allow myself to open up my heart and receive. I'm going to allow myself to prioritize myself and say, yes, I have all of these resources. I have my business coaches. I have my network of friends. I have a lot out there. And for me in my world, I encourage you to say my foundational wellness is also worth prioritization. And I don't need permission to know that I am worthy of feeling great. I'm worthy of having energy. I'm worthy of having a rockin' libido. I'm worthy of knowing that my hormones are balanced because I have the space of a multidisciplinary team that's there holding me and a community that's there along the way. So those would be my 3.
I love that. And it's so important for us to truly look at that full holistic approach, right? So you talked about many things about the food, about the environment, and there's so many pillars to that true full potential. But I think I like how you started the why. I love the book by Simon Sinek, Start with Why. He's a
Mm,
master NLP practitioner, and it's really helping. And I truly believe everything starts with purpose. And until we have that nailed down, we're building in vain.
mhm,
And then we get to our deathbed and we shoulda, coulda, woulda. And I think so for that, that purpose is so important. And I wanted to just add on the why. So for people listening, what she's saying, ask yourself 3 times why, maybe even go to 7, keep going till you cry. And so what does that mean? And what does that look like? It means actually pulling back the layers of your paradigms. Oh, I want that because it gives me financial freedom. Well, why do you want financial freedom? I don't know. Someone told me that's where, your best life lives. Right. But then what does that actually, okay, well, so then you truly want financial freedom because you think that will have you live your best life. Okay, great. Well, what does your best life look like? And why do you want to live that? Well, I would love to live my best life because I actually want to wake up and feel good. I want to look in the mirror and say, I love myself. I want to have the sex drive, the ambition, the goals, and everything that sets my soul and heart on fire and actually gets me to live, okay, that's what I want. Now, why do I want that? Because why would you want to live any other way?
right.
Right. And actually digging down. And I love that. I've heard it from so many different places. But I think people need to understand, like, actually get down like Mariah said, like get down to it till you're crying. Like you are so connected to that why that no matter what comes your way, you've burned the boats. This is what you're doing, and it's your purpose, and it sets your soul on fire. And that's the only way we're going to wake up every day and have our feet hit the floor and go like, "This is what I want to do. This I came here to do this. As we said, I was born for this." Right?
Absolutely.
I love
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah. To allow yourself to feel it. And then we get to receive support. We get to continue to be our self advocate. And at the end of the day, I always say the womb knows, the heart listens, and the voice speaks. When you check in with your intuition, you know, and your heart is listening. And when you speak your truth, it gets expressed and the body heals. And we get to receive support. We get to have somebody in on our team that we feel seen by, so that we get to be in our zone of genius and let them be in theirs while they support you along your journey. And so in my place, I get to help ambitious, driven women that are doing big things in the world. And I get to hold you along your journey to help you. Well, it's me and the team, so that you can feel energized, get those hormones where they need to be, allow your gut to be rocking so your immune system's strong, as your mood is strong and there's no more roller coasters, and help you turn your passion on so that you're turned on by your life, your lover, and yourself.
And I love that. And so we did get a little bit of your entrepreneur journey, but just for those entrepreneurs out there who are thinking about it, who are on the journey, it's a roller coaster. It's a fun time. And if we're truly living at our greatest expression, we are living uncomfortably on that, especially on that entrepreneurial journey. So share a little bit about yours, some tips and inspiration for those other entrepreneurs that are listening. Like, I don't know, what would be a
Yeah.
piece of advice for all the entrepreneurs
Right.
listening?
The two things that come to mind is just outside our comfort zone and in the support of the right community is where magic happens. And so I think being around the right communities to support ourselves and allow us to individually get outside our comfort zones, those places where I feel excited and I feel nervous and I think I'm going to vomit, but I know I'm excited about it. That's a good place to go. If you
Yeah.
really want to build as an entrepreneur. A little bit of my story, when I was a full-time healthcare provider, my husband and I were pregnant with our first baby. We were living in Hawaii, and I was offered a short-term position in Alaska to go in and help some midwives. They had a mom going out on maternity leave, and my husband and I both thought, oh, how cool. We've always wanted to be in Alaska. We're first pregnancy. We're going to go up there. They're going to pay for our move. We rented out our house, bought a car in Southern Oregon, and we were driving the Alcan Highway up to Alaska. And along the way, miscarried by ourselves in the middle of nowhere with no Wi-Fi. Luckily, I had my midwifery bag. And in between contractions, I was telling my husband, if I hemorrhage, use this herb. I mean, it was rough. And there's a reason I'm telling this story. When we arrived in Juneau, Alaska, they said, oh my gosh, we're so sorry. We actually made a mistake on your contract and we don't have a job for you. And that $10,000 we were going to reimburse you for your move, we're not going to give you. We found ourselves jobless, homeless, uninsured, no longer pregnant, with an extra $10,000 debt. Our house in Hawaii was rented out. And oh, by the way, we also had our dog with us. And that was the moment where I said, never again. It was also the moment that I felt crushed and I was sad and I went into a lot of self-doubt. Was there a sign that I missed? Is there something I could have done differently? And it took a long time to take another leap. And to be honest with you, it was taking the leap into building my own online course a few years ago, where I hired someone to help me. I found the right coach. And I also brought in a mindset coach. And I was scared shitless. Hopefully it's okay to speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was afraid to take the leap because now I had 3 children. And what if it failed again? What if it came crashing in this next version? And it was really scary. But I knew that there wasn't another option because I was really miserable in the existence that I was living. And I know that I had a purpose. I know that I have a purpose. And I know that I have a craft and a zone of genius that deserves to be shared with women all around the world. And so I continued to take steps, and I continued to feel like I was diving, and I continued to feel afraid, but slowly my confidence built. And like I said, I had the resources in place where every week I met with my mindset coach, and every week I met with my business coach, and I did the work, and I journaled, and I shared with the friends that were close to me, and I shared with my husband, and slowly got to celebrate. Celebrate in a big way. And what I can tell you is in that first year, I hit 6 figures, and then I tripled that. And now I'm serving women all over the world in my craft. Do I feel nervous at times? Absolutely. Am I perpetually having to put on my big girl panties as a CEO and hire new people and figure out new ways to set boundaries and say no and organize my schedule? Absolutely. And am I enjoying it? It gives me chills to say it out loud. It's a journey of entrepreneurship where now I got to bring my husband home as the CFO and the stay-at-home dad, because we live in a place where smoke season is a real thing. And so for 2 months of the year, if we want to be here, we have to be wearing masks before COVID times, and we can't go outside with our children. I don't want that. I want to be able to pick up. And if we want to go to Hawaii or Florida for 2 months, we got it, as long as we've got Wi-Fi. And we get to work together and continue to grow in our marriage and continue to grow in ourselves. And I perpetually get to grow in how I embody the woman that I'm serving, and the things that she is starving for. I get to fully embody that. And it's so beautiful to watch the blossoming, because over time, the woman who's coming to me is changing. Now it's the woman who's saying, yeah, I want to be an ambitious, driven, successful entrepreneur, and I know that I need support. And I don't have a lot of time. Money's not a thing. It's my time. So can you give me streamlined, efficient support so I can feel better, so that I can go out and pour into my work? Yes. And I get to embody it myself and continue to be on the journey. So that's one piece of my entrepreneurial journey.
Well, just firstly, thank you so much for sharing your story. It's
Mhm.
really inspiring. It's really magical, because in our community, it's about owning it, which means, picking ourselves back up regardless and
Mhm.
going for gold, because we know we're meant for more. And we know that's just part of the learning journey, so that we can help others heal. And as we heal us, we heal others. So thank you for picking yourself back up and truly owning it and creating what you have, so that you are having that ripple effect across the world and normalizing self-care and women's health, and the ability to be a successful entrepreneur and have balance and put yourself first.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
doesn't have to be hard, right?
No, it does not have to be hard. And it took me 10 years from the miscarriage until I took the leap.
Yeah.
So if you're there and you're afraid, please don't wait the full 10 years that I waited. I mean, you get to do it in your own timing, and your timing is divine. But listen into the calling for sure, and prioritize yourself.
I
Mhm.
love that. Yes, we all have a calling, a purpose. We came here to serve. And I truly believe full ascension means once we've mastered that, we get to turn around and teach others, so that we can keep the ripple effects going. So
Mhm.
your next stop is to now go teach other people to do what you're doing, so that it doesn't end with you,
Yes.
right? So that it continues to birth the new earth, to make the old systems obsolete, that are actually creating peace and heaven on earth for the highest good of all, right?
Absolutely. I love it.
I love that. You're amazing. Thank you for your time, for your energy. So where can people learn more about you, and where shall they go to
Oh,
check out and see you and find out more, and what's the best spot?
yes. Well, I mean, you're always welcome to just find me in social media. It's Maraya Brown, but the Vibrant Life Workshop is probably the first stopping point. So if you go to marayabrown.com/the Vibrant Life, I'm sure the link will be in the show notes. Would love to have you. It's 5 days of content, 1 hour a day, me pouring myself into the masses. It's totally free. You get concierge support, and I give you a roadmap to systematically go through, from a functional medicine lens, your energy, your hormones, your libido, and your power. And so that's a good starting point. You're welcome to register and would love to have you. Otherwise, you're welcome to just reach out to me. I'm pretty accessible in the DMs, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram. My YouTube and TikTok and LinkedIn are growing right now. Best place to find me is via the website or Facebook or Instagram, and would love to have you at the next Vibrant Life workshop. It really is a landing place where I can give you your starting point roadmap, and it will be with some of the team. Well, for at least the March workshop, for those of you that are listening to this for the May workshop, I'm sure we'll have another variation. But we'll have the dietitian, the mindset coach, and the trauma release specialist on. And all four of us get the opportunity to pour into you. And you'll hear from other women who get to share their own testimonies and their own experience. But mainly, you get to start taking steps to feeling your version of a vibrant life so that you can go out in the world and pour into your entrepreneurial endeavors in a big, flamboyant, spectacular way.
I love that. And guys, whether you're listening now or it's at the end of the year, whenever you find this episode, go and check it out, because we're always serving, we're always teaching. It never stops, and it will just be the next best version. So whether it's May, June, July, 2023, whenever you find this episode, go check out Maraya Brown, because she is here to serve.
2050, we'll still be here.
We'll still be here.
We'll be doing it from our private jet, flying from Hawaii to Florida.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or maybe in Uruguay. Who knows?
I'll be in the Alps. I'm going to be in Villa in Austria.
I might be in Costa del Sol down in southern Spain.
And I will come and visit so we could do a show live together.
Sounds like a plan. I'll see you in 2050.
I'll see you in 2050. I absolutely love it. Well, thank you for your time and your energy. Everyone, everything you need is in the show notes. If you're live with us now on any of the social media platforms, go ahead and check out the March event with Maraya. And if you're tuning in later and catching us on Apple, then go and check out her website and check out when the next event is, because, I mean, who doesn't want to live a vibrant life?
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, Maraya. And remember, everyone, expect magic and miracles. Stay happy, healthy, and wealthy. Love it.
Absolutely.